Good morning, friends. Today I am going to take the session on the summary of the chapter number 2, that is the functions of the ecosystem. So we have seen the chapter 1 summary also. So in the same manner, we are going to see the chapter 2 summary also. And in between, I will inform you where are the important type questions that will be asked by the UPSC, how UPSC will make changes in the questions, and all those things I am going to dealt in this class. Okay, in this first of all, we see what is the functions of the ecosystem. We have mainly three functions of the ecosystem, that is the energy flow, the nutrient cycle, and the ecological succession. What do you mean by energy flow? So energy flows from the one trophic level to the another trophic level. So during this process, the loss of heat will take place, guys. Okay, the loss of heat will take place during the transfer of energy from one trophic level to the another trophic level, guys. Okay, and the second one is the nutrient cycle. So for an organism to survive, so the energy comes from the nutrients which they eat. So the nutrients are also very important, guys. So in this we are going to see the nutrients as the nutrient cycle as the gaseous nutrient cycle and the sedimentary nutrient cycle. In the gaseous nutrient cycle, we have seen the water cycle, the carbon cycle, and the nitrogen cycle. And coming to the sedimentary cycle, we have seen the sulfur and the phosphorus. So along with this, the other gaseous sedimentary nutrients are also required, guys. So these we have seen at a larger level, guys. Okay. So the organism needs each and everything, guys. That is water, mineral, nutrients, proteins. All those things are required for the organism. And third topic is ecological succession. Ecological succession is nothing but how an organism developed from being small to the being large. Okay, from algae, soft plant, hard plant to the larger tree. So that is the ecological succession, guys. So we will see. So what are the functions of the ecosystem that we have seen, guys? Okay, that is the energy flow, the nutrient cycle, and the ecological succession. Now it's the trophic level interaction. So trophic level means, guys, we have different level of tropics. That is producers. Producers are the green plants which are called as autotrophs. They present at the first level of the trophic level, guys. And second, we have primary consumers. So primary consumers also we call as heterotrophs. Example is goat. The secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and the quaternary consumers, guys. So the example of secondary consumer is wolf. And the tertiary quaternary consumers, we have the lions, guys. Okay. So in this way, the trophic levels will be established in the ecosystem. That is, the primary is the producers from primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and quaternary consumer, guys. So those are the trophic levels which are present in the ecosystem. So generally, the trophic level will have 4 to 5 levels, guys. Why? Because if we extend from 4 to 5 to extra, that is 6, the organism which is present at the 6th tropical will can't get the enough food for the survival, guys. So the in a system of trophic level, maximum they will do 4 to 5 trophic level. So how trophic level interaction will be takes place, guys? If you are having the trophic level independently, its survival become very difficult, guys, because the green plants which are produced by themselves through the process of photosynthesis, guys, should be eaten by the consumer. So then only it will be beneficial to the plants and to the consumers. So in such a way, the trophic level interaction will be taking place. So trophic level interaction will take place through the food chain, the food web, and the ecological pyramid. So what do you mean by food chain? So food chain is the linear network in a food web in which an organism will be eaten by its another organism, guys. Okay, food chain is the linear network in a food web. Okay, in which one organism is eaten by the another. For example, we have grass. Okay, the lateral grasshopper. Okay, eagle, wolf, and the lion. So in this process, this is a linear network in which one organism is eaten by some other guys for the prey. Very clear. This is food chain, and we have food web. So what do you mean by food web? So food web is the nothing but when we have more than one food chain, it is called as food web. So guys, food chain is only unidirectional, guys. That is one pathway. And in food web, we have number of food chains linked to the one another. And the primary source is the producers only, guys. So in the trophic level, the primary produce play an important role in the food web, because in the food web, first organism, that is the first consumer, will depend upon the producers only. So in such a way, the producers will be strong to get enough to get the required food to the primary consumers, guys. Okay. So what is the need of the food web? Guys, if you go to the one hotel, you want to eat chapati. If there chapati is not there, you can go for the idli or some other dish. In such a way, in a food chain, if any organism is not present in a food web, then they get some other organism as its prey. That is the concept of the food web, guys. Okay. Now we will see. So we have seen functions of ecosystem, trophic level interaction. In that we have seen the food chain and food web and the ecological pyramid, guys. So ecological pyramid is that generally diametrical presentation of the interaction of the trophic levels. Okay. In that we have ecological of number, ecological of biomass, and ecological pyramid of energy. So first of all, we have seen the ecological pyramid of number, guys. So in ecological pyramid of a number, in each trophic level, the number of individuals have been counted, guys. Okay, but there we have seen one drawback, guys. The drawback is, so in each trophic level, the number of individuals is not the same. Why? Because at the producers there are many in number, whereas at the apex predator, that is we have very less in the number, guys. So its methodology, we are not getting accurate information from how much how much food required to the next organism. So for that, we have overcome this ecological pyramid of a number. We have moved to the ecological pyramid of a biomass. So the ecological pyramid of a number is both, guys. That is upright and inverted. We have seen the upright in the terrestrial ecosystem, guys. Okay, we can see the upright in the terrestrial ecosystem, whereas we can see the so same we can see the upright in the aquatic, guys. Okay, in the aquatic also we will see the upright. So whereas pyramid of inverted pyramid that we can see at the terrestrial, guys. Okay, so ecological pyramid of a number is both we have at the upright and the inverted, guys. So now we see the biomass. So biomass, if you see the biomass, we have the dry mass of the quantity at each trophic level will be calculated, so that the number of pyramid will be overcome. So the quantity of the pyramid of number will be overcome. So the dry mass of at each trophic level will be counted. So the pyramid of biomass is also there at the upright and inverted. So we can see the upright pyramid and we can see the inverted pyramid. And after this, the biomass also not accurately giving information of how much food that required by the trophic level. So for such a thing, we have gone to the pyramid of energy. So in pyramid of energy, we have seen we can see only one, that is, as I mentioned previous, the energy flows only in the one direction, as in the loss of the heat, guys. Okay, in the pyramid of energy, that is only upright, that is from lower trophic level to from the apex consumer. Okay, clear? So pyramid of energy is only unidirectional. Okay, guys, it is about the pyramid of number, pyramid of number, ecological pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and the pyramid of energy. So the very important, guys, that is UPSC favorite topic. That is, so in which ecosystem we find which type of the pyramid? That is pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy, guys. Okay, so you should have clear-cut clarity, guys. Conceptual clarity is very important in each topic, guys. Okay, done. So now we have across the pyramid we have seen number, biomass, and the energy. So the pyramid of the number and the biomass are the both upright and the inverted. Whereas the pyramid of energy is only upright. Okay, no pollutant. So pollutant are the organisms which are present in the system that is not degradable, and which are not metabolized by the living organisms is known as pollutant. So what do you mean by pollutant? Pollutant are the things which are not degradable and which are not metabolized by the organisms is called as pollutant. So So pollutant may be of two types, that is primary and secondary. So primary pollutant we have the SO2, NOx and the PM gas. And the secondary pollutant we have the plastic, all those things. So plastic and DDT, all those things we have the secondary pollutants. Means secondary pollutants are the one which happen from the primary pollutant gas. So by adding something to the primary pollutant, we get the secondary pollutant. Okay. So primary pollutant and the secondary pollutant. And the examples of secondary pollutants, we have the secondary particulate matter. Okay. So we will see that is pollutant gas. So what is meant bioaccumulation and biomagnification? These are the two terms which UPSC asked and they confuse with the both interchanging their definitions. What is meant by bioaccumulation? Bioaccumulation is the process in which the pollutant enters the food chain at the primary level, at the source level, is known as bioaccumulation. So in the bioaccumulation, the pollutant enters at the primary level, that is source level, is bioaccumulation. Whereas biomagnification is the one. So after entering in the food chain, after pollution entering in the food chain, it will be transferred from one trophic level to the other trophic level. Is known as biomagnification. So biomagnification means from one trophic level to the from producers to consumer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, all the so in such a way it will be transferred from one trophic level to another. That is biomagnification. Okay, means bio and magnify. It will be magnified gas. Okay, so the pollutant at the large level will be more in the quantity. So there are few conditions to happen as biomagnification. So biomagnification will occur when the pollutant is long-lived. Okay, so the life of the pollutant is long-lived and is biologically active, and it should be mobile gas. So the pollutant has ability to move, and the pollutant should be soluble in the fat. So these are the four conditions to be made if the pollution should be biomagnification. So in UPSC, they will ask as a two statement question, right? So in the two statement question, they will interchange the definitions of both the bioaccumulation and biomagnification. So bioaccumulation, biomagnification, and what is biological process? Biogeological process. Biogeological process is the bio means living organism gas. That is living organisms are the one which are present in the biosphere, and geological process means the atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. So the organisms which move from one process to the another is known as biological process gas. For example, producers gas. So producers in the form of photosynthesis and the sunlight prepare the food. So those will be eaten by the consumers. So consumers after die, those waste matter will be entered to the land. So land is the part of the substratum, that is the lithosphere. Okay. So again that will be taken by the producers as the nutrient gas. So in such a way, and if the plants also die, those will be also directly entered into the soil. That is the decayed matter gas. So the biological process, the biogeological process is the one. The bio, that is living organism, that is plants. Okay, plants and animals, that is in the part of the biosphere, will revolve through the other part of the life, that is the so not the life gas, the other part of the earth, that is the atmosphere, lithosphere and the hydrosphere. This process is known as biogeological process. The movement of the living organisms through the atmosphere, lithosphere and the hydrosphere is known as biogeological process. Okay, it's clear. Okay, now we will see that guys, we have seen pollutant, bioaccumulation, biomagnification, biological process. We will see what is biotic interaction. So biotic interaction is the one which one organism in an ecosystem will depend upon the another for their requirement gas. So in such a way, the process will be of different types gas. For example, we have seen in detail in the previous classes gas. So mutualism is the one where two species are getting benefited. So one species is getting benefited from the other gas and the other is getting from the previous one. That is the mutualism gas. The example we have seen is small plants and the bees. So bees get the nectar from the plants. The plants get the pollination and seed dispersion through the bees gas. So this is the mutualism. Commensalism, that is one is benefited, other is not affected gas. And the example is the birds living on a large tree. Okay, is the example. So the parts are getting benefited and the larger tree is not getting any benefit, that is neutral. Amensalism, minus and is zero. So one is getting affected and the other is neutral, that is the ticks sucking the blood from the human beings case. So we are getting affected, that is my negative, and those are getting the, and those are not having the, any effect, guys. Okay, that is minus zero. Okay, uh, sorry guys, this is not example of amensalism. This is the example of prediction or parasitism, guys. Parasitism. Okay, parasitism is the example of the ticks sucking the blood from the human body. That is the plus and the minus. So plus is the ticks and the minus is the human beings. Okay, and the example of amensalism, that is minus and the zero is, so in this the one organism is getting affected, guys, and the other organism have no effect. That example, so if you take the examples of large trees which are having the canopy and the small trees present over the ground, so the small things, the small plants which are present over the ground are not getting the sunlight for the photosynthesis because of the large trees of the canopy, guys. So in this process, the small trees are getting affected and the large trees has no effect, guys. So this is the example of the amensalism, minus zero. And the prediction is the one which where one organism depend upon the other for the prey, that is the deer and the tiger. So tiger depends upon on the tree for the prediction, guys. Okay, and we have seen, and one more thing is minus, that is competition, guys. So competition means, so if we have two species alike and there is very small amount of food available, then it's very difficult for the both organisms to get the sufficient food, guys. So this is the competition, minus. Okay, so this type of interaction will take place in, guys, that is known as biotic interaction. Now we have done with the energy flow. Second one is nutrient cycle. So nutrient cycle is, we have seen that, so transfer of nutrients from one trophic level to the another level, or through the atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, and the biosphere, guys. Okay, so we have gases and we have sedimentary cycle. So we will see what is nutrient cycle. So in that we have types of nutrient cycle, guys. So types of means the nutrient cycle which will be replenished or recycled very fast are called perfect nutrient cycle. The one which cannot be replenished or recycled fast, that is those process will take place slow, is called as the imperfect nutrient cycle. In perfect nutrient cycle, the replacement process is fast, whereas in the imperfect it is very slow. In the, so after that we have gas phase and the sedimentary cycle here. In gaseous cycle we have the water cycle, nitrogen cycle, and the carbon cycle. So guys, we have seen in detail the water cycle, nitrogen cycle, and the carbon cycle, and the things we are going to deal is what is the evaporation. Evaporation is the water particles. So water particles present in the atmosphere. So when during heavy temperature, the things, the water present in the soil will evaporate. The water present on the land will evaporate because of that sun. Because of the sun's heat is known as evaporation. So those evaporated particles will move to the clouds. Okay, and the condensation, guys. So condensation is the, so whenever these particles move to the upper surface, so to the clouds, at a saturation point occurs there where the holding capacity of the evaporated particles can't be established. So on that time it will be blast. So that will be condensation takes place, guys. So the transpiration is the, so in the land the water will be taken by the plants through the roots, guys. Okay, and it will be released through the small tiny water droplets through the leaves. So those will be entered in the atmosphere. Those process is known as transpiration and the precipitation, guys. So whenever the condensation takes place, then the water will be the water will be released from the clouds is known as precipitation, guys. So this is how the water cycle will take place. And we have found the nitrogen cycle, guys. So even though there is the much amount of nitrogen present in the atmosphere, its useful is very less there. Why? Because it cannot be directly used by the organisms. So for that we need to get the fixation, guys. So nitrogen fixation is very important. That is converting the elemental nitrogen into the useful nitrogen. That is through the, we convert the nitrogen element into the ammonia, guys. So through the process of the leguminous crops and through the living nitrogen bacteria, and we have azotobacter, guys. So Azotobacter is the one which converts the element nitrogen into the ammonia gas, and from ammonia to the we convert to the nitrite gas. So from ammonia to the we convert the nitro to the nitrosomonas. Through the nitrosomonas bacteria, we convert the ammonia ions to the nitrates, and from nitrates to nitrate we convert through the process of nitrobacter gas. So in such a way, at each different trophic level, the plants will take the nitrogens. Through ammonia, some will take. Through nitrates, some will take. Through nitrates, some will take the gas. Okay. So guys, this process will be done. Means this process will be done in a systematically manner, guys. Okay. So the element nitro can be converted by the process like so. All the things that I explained now will be done in the by the people in the industry, guys. So few will be converted or the fixed through the tendering, and the few will be fixed or conducted through the organisms, guys. So through the as I said, that is azotobacter. Okay. So that is the nitrogen fixation gas. Again, those will be decomposed and gases that come to the atmosphere, and all those things will be sacrificed. So carbon is also the same thing. So carbon cycle also we have seen, guys. So carbon directly present in the atmosphere as CO2 gas. So we get the pollutants of the carbon from the fuel and the combustion gas. Okay. So if you see the atmosphere, we have nitrogen of 78%, and the oxygen 21%, and the third one is the argon gas, that is 0.93%, and the fourth is carbon 0.06. This is very important as UPSC question. Okay, nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and the carbon gas. Okay, so carbonate preparation, that is through the photosynthesis, that is 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O gives rise to the during the process of photosynthesis and the sunlight, they prepare the carbonate gas and they release the oxygen which will be taken by the human beings. Okay? And the sedimentary cycle, guys, in sedimentary cycle we have seen the sulfur cycle and the phosphorus cycle. So these are the take place through the except the atmosphere. So the atmosphere role has nothing to do with the phosphorus and the sulfur cycle, guys. Why? Because these two are the sedimentary cycle. This will be done through the biosphere, that is the living organism, the lithosphere and the hydrosphere process will be done with this process. And but we find the SO2 and H2S in the atmosphere, guys. That is sulfur, that is which are harmful to us, guys. Okay. The gaseous sulfur we find as the H2S and SO2 in this sulfur process, guys. Okay. But except that all this process will be take place through the atmosphere, the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and the biosphere. The atmosphere component does not get in this process, guys. Okay? This is about sulfur cycle and the phosphorus cycle. These two are also very important for the nutrient, guys. Okay. Now, after seeing through the energy flow, the nutrient cycle, now we will move to the ecological succession, guys. What do you mean by ecological succession? Ecological succession is the universal process, guys. It is the universal process in the vegetation of the time, in the development of the vegetation during a time scale, guys. Okay, a universal process in the development of the vegetation during a time scale is known as ecological succession. For example, if you take small algae, guys, so small algae to the earth, that is green plants, guys. Okay, green plants are called as the earth. From earth shrubs, that is the medium to the green plants, that is which are of the medium to the large size woody plants are the shrubs, and the trees are the large trees of hard in the structure, guys. Okay, so how an vegetation from small to the developed during the time scale, guys, okay, is known as the ecological succession, guys. So the ecological succession, we have characteristics like the ecological succession. It should be depend upon the type of vegetation that is happening over the, guys. So the ecological succession may be of different type of vegetation takes place, guys. For example, so if the ecological succession takes place at the bare land, that is no existence of the vegetation in its previous course, that is known as the barren land, guys. That is primary succession, guys. So primary ecological succession, guys. Okay, and if it is taken from someone has acquired that and they have left after and they have distorted that is known as the secondary ecological succession, guys. So we are going to see the characteristics, guys. In characteristics, The ecological succession may be at the primary level or at the intermediate level. So it may be restricted to the floods or all those things. So through the floods it may be restricted gas. Okay, so it may be narrower or the wide gas. Okay, so these are the few characteristics of the ecological succession gas. Now we will see types of ecological succession. So in types of ecological succession we have primary, secondary, autotrophic and heterotrophic, autogenic and allogenic. What do you mean by primary gas? Primary ecological succession are the one which takes place in barren land. Okay, is known as primary ecological. It takes very large time, guys, to develop as at the apex phase. Okay, and the secondary is the one which has done from the intermediate phase. So someone has done that vegetation over there and left that part, or someone or destroyed, or the floods made them to do like that. Okay, means the disturbed land, if you start the vegetation, that is known as secondary vegetation. Okay, so what is the difference between primary and secondary if you compare? So primary are the one which starts at the beginning, secondary are the one which starts from some intermediate or the apex level, guys. Okay, and the primary are in the slow wise, because we need to become from the root level. Whereas secondary, someone has established something, so we need to develop from over there. That is from the some part of the things. It will be very simple. So the second reconstruction will be very fast. Okay, so these two are the few different two differences between the primary and the secondary section, guys. Okay, so and the third one is the autogenic and allogenic. Autogenic is the one section which are made from the habitat of those places itself. Okay, is known as autogenic, and allogenic is the whereas the succession the species that has come from the other places have made this succession, guys, is known as allogenic. Autogenic and allogenic. Autogenic are the self, means from that place only, from that habitat only, it is the succession taking place. Okay, that is autogenic, and the allogenic is the from the force some other species outside the ecosystem has done, is known as allogenic. And autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic are the one which the green plants are more in the ecosystem, guys. They are called autotrophic. Whereas the heterotrophic, the green plants are the lesser number. That is, the consumers are the more in number. That is known as heterotrophic. Guys, with this I complete the session. So we have seen the types of ecological section, that is the primary, secondary, and the autogenic and allogenic, and autotrophic and heterotrophic, guys. Okay, clear? So it's very important, guys. So UPSC may ask you questions, guys. Okay, please try to have much transfer. If you are not able to get the things in this session, why? Because this is the summary session, guys. So I made it a little bit fast, and please go through my previous classes. You can get the good amount of knowledge, guys. Okay, I have clearly mentioned everything in those sessions, guys. Okay, so what is the ecological section, its characteristics, and its implementation, and all the things I have mentioned in the previous classes, guys. So with this I complete this session, guys. This is chapter number 2, and I will come up the next class with the chapter number 3, guys. That is the functions, that is the terrestrial ecosystem, guys. Thank you one and all.